2 days a month, 2 orders a month, and 1,500 profit a month. A lot of people think it's too good to be true. Averaging, I think, about 100 sales a day. I hit 6 figures months ago now, about 3 months ago now.
Yeah. It's okay.
Today we are back with another episode. We've got Josh over here, and we'll quickly introduce you, what you're doing at the moment, and, if you could give us a quick rundown of, what you're doing now, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Josh, I'm 22 from Edinburgh. Currently run an Amazon FBA business, and I also work at Amazon as well.
Cool. So, so you're obviously running your own Amazon business and stuff now. Are you working full-time at the moment?
Yeah, so I've been working full-time for 4 years, but I started this business about 14 months ago, I think. I officially registered it about 12 months ago. And then when I first started, it was obviously COVID, most people working from home, so that's why I started it. But yeah, I've been working full-time throughout it all as well.
Yeah, and have you found it easy to run Amazon FBA and stuff as a side hustle alongside your full-time job and stuff like that?
Yeah, so especially for a side hustle, it's very easy to do, I'd say. If you want to turn it into a full-time business or to scale it to a business, it's a type of business model which I'd say most people start out with a full-time job, and it is fairly easy to run with a full-time job as well. I've managed to do it to this point. I'd say if you want to take it to the next level above 6 figures and beyond, you'd want to do it full-time.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty easy to do with a full-time job.
It's quite amazing the level you've got it to with doing a full-time job. You don't see you do see that success quite often, but you really have hounded it, really. Do you know what I mean? For the amount of time you're in work, you're doing a full-time job and you've still done really well out of it. So
what point are you up to now? Obviously Jake's just said, you're up to a pretty substantial point. What point is that, figures wise, month revenue wise and stuff like that?
So I hit 6 figures months ago now, about 3 months ago now.
Yeah.
Ups and downs, especially working full time. Any business is going to have ups and downs, but especially if you're working full time, some, work takes priority sometimes. Yeah. So it was averaging £20,000 revenue months. Some months better than others, some you have bad spells, but yeah, I'd say that was my average, and I'm over 6 figures now. Took a bit of a hit with VAT registration. That was a whole sort of new learning experience, accountancy, things like that, things I kind of overlooked at the start, but yeah, past 6 figures now.
So one thing I want to know, before we get into the juicy FBA now to this day, before you actually started at your current job at Amazon, what was you at college?
So before I started my job at Amazon, I had a full-time typical 9-to-5 job. It's an IT job, but it's an IT support job. So on the phones, on social media, doing customer service, but technical customer service. But before that, I was at college doing IT as well.
Is that always what you want to do, something in that?
Yeah, so when I was in school, I was never that good in school. The only thing I was good at was computing and IT. It was literally the only thing I could do, in English as well. So I never really enjoyed it. My results were never that good, in exams and stuff like that. But IT was always something I'd done pretty good in. So I thought I enjoyed it at the time. That's what I wanted to go on to do. So I left school a year early and then went to college to just do that full time.
Can you remember the first thing that you ever made money on, whether it was selling sweets in school or was you doing anything on the side?
It's quite a weird thing. I've always had something on the side, always. Since probably 14. I used to play Call of Duty. I would get cheats on COD. I jailbroke my PS3, and then I would get unlock alls. So I would sell that. I would do lobbies with that, and I would sell it for PSN cards at the time, and then Xbox points as well. So that was the first ever thing that I'd done on the side for a bit of extra money. I just wanted to spend money. Even when I was younger, I always had more of an expensive taste, and I wanted games and stuff. I was well, if I'm going to get them, then I want to buy them. So that's the first thing I ever done.
That's interesting, to be fair, because I jailbroke. Oh no, I didn't jailbreak it, but I had I had a JTAG on my Xbox as well, and it's pretty interesting, to be fair, because when I was younger, I was always in stuff like that, but I was a bit too young when I first came to do it, and I always wanted to do stuff like that. I was saying when I start doing JTAG lobbies and stuff like this, I'm gonna start buying stuff and all this, but it never came around until I was obviously well older and I was actually reselling. And I think when I actually started reselling, I think that was one of the it's why I ended up buying it. I was you know what, I'm gonna go back to my childhood memory now, and I'm gonna buy an Xbox, a reset glitch Xbox, so I could just do modded lobbies and stuff like that. But that's pretty mad how you mentioned that, to be fair. But so you was 14, you was doing obviously all this stuff doing modded lobbies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How much was you making off doing that?
It wasn't much, and I think, like you said, I was too young at the time, because when I was maybe like 17, that's when I got into reselling. So, but when I got into reselling and realised you can make money like without a job, really, I was like, I kind of worked out how many people used to message me, how much I would charge them. I would maybe charge them like £10 for an unlock all and like PSN card or something like that, £20 for unlock all and like cheats and things like that. So I was maybe making like a couple £100 a month, something like that.
Still
that's
great.
good.
Modded lobbies.
When I was older and I thought about the just sheer amount of people that messaged me, I was like, could have made like thousands and thousands. And I remember working it out on a calculator. I was like, if I averaged like £20 per person, the amount of people that used to message me and the amount of people that would want it, you could honestly make like 5 figures a month. Like I worked out there was that many people. I was doing it for like, you know, I started just doing it for free because I just enjoyed it, but I made a little bit of money from it. But I was like, you could honestly make, like, there was that many people at the time, like probably like a couple grand minimum a month off doing it. And it's just like opened my eyes to like, you can make money from like the craziest sort of stuff.
For a 14-year-old.
I can actually remember like
5 figures a month.
Yeah, like getting into like one of those lobbies was just like, you found one guy that did it and I'd just like spam him with messages, just like, please let me in it, please let me in it. I'd be like a 12-year-old, just like, please, I just want to
That's what I used to do to people, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna like, I already had a PS3 and then I got another one. Well, I think it was like my granddad actually helped me do it. So my granddad always be quite technical. So I was like, I want to do this. Like I keep getting in these modded lobbies, but I want to do the modded lobbies. And then asked them about it, and then we got another one, and then started selling it. And I was just like, just crazy at such a young age. But like, you can honestly just make money from like the weirdest things. So that like opened my eyes to it quite a bit.
So over the last month, most of my available time has been spent developing the new version of the CCN app, creating our new UI and integrating more of CCN's Discord features in an easier to use and more reliable platform. So seeing as Josh kickstarted his business journey through reselling, I thought now would be a perfect time to explain for those of you who don't know what CCN is. CCN is an online reselling platform that takes you from beginner to expert and reduces the amount of time needed to resell by many orders of magnitude. We tell you about any upcoming items that are going to resell, so you can go about trying to buy these items for yourself. Of course, there is no way you can get every single item that we tell you about, but you can get a good few every single month and make some lovely profits off doing so. So if you're ready to start this low-risk side hustle, click the link below and become a member. Now back to the podder.
So obviously after that, you know, you started reselling. How did you actually get into reselling and stuff like that? You know, how did that all come about?
So when I first got into it, I got into it like I'd say like peak Yeezy era.
Yeah.
Like
you
350s.
probably know about just after 350s. So I wanted the 350s to wear, like the Pirate Blacks, Turtle Doves, everything like that. I wanted them to wear. Could never get them. The reselling them was like thousands, over 1,000 at the time. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 16, 15, something like that. I was like, I don't have £1,000 for a pair of shoes. So the first ever pair I started to resell was the V2s, the first time they came out with the Belugas. But so I only got one pair of them, but I wanted to wear them, so I just kept them. But after that, I got into it from them because I wanted to wear the clothes. But I couldn't afford the resale prices at that age. So I was like, if I can get them at retail, I can afford a retail pair of shoes. So I just got into it from wanting to wear it, really.
Yeah, and that's very interesting as well, because when I got my first ever pair of Yeezys, what I did was I sold them, spent every single penny on Pirate Black V1s, and just like that, like, it's just so stupid of me to do something like that, but it's crazy how, like, you know, it makes you like, you have like reasons for wanting to make money and stuff like that. So obviously you was reselling and, you know, so forth. When did you actually like even like come into like know about Amazon FBA? You know, how did you find out about it?
So it was quite like a long sort of process to find out about it, because I'd always done something on the side. So I'd done reselling for quite a while. I'd done it when I was at college. I never had a part-time job or anything like that when I was at college. So I was kind of paying for going out, buying clothes. My first car, I still got a Fiesta. Paid for basically the majority of that from reselling. So when it kind of started to die down a bit in terms of like the ROI and Yeezys went down, I didn't have like crazy money to like buy hundreds of pairs or anything like that. I looked at other ways of making money. So after I got my first job, I tried all the usual sort of stuff, Forex trading, done that, got into a bit of crypto, done that, done betting. Wouldn't advise on betting, but done a bit of everything. So I always had something that I tried, made like loads of mistakes from crypto and crypto and forex trading. I lost thousands on that. So then I was just looking for something that in my spare time I could work on, because I thought I don't want to just sit about and do kind of nothing. I want to work on something. So I was looking for something for ages, and then I can't remember how I came across it. I think it was a YouTuber. It was like flashing the lifestyle. Sold the course for about £30 or £50. I was like, okay, this looks easy enough to get into. Bought into that, and well, the course never really amounted to much. But after that, I just kept looking about. I've done other courses, other mentors, things like that, and then just kind of got into it from kind of Instagram and YouTube, really. Yeah.
And was there at any point where you're thinking like, oh, like this could be a scam and stuff like that? Because obviously massive, and obviously you'd done crypto and forex and you'd lost money. Yeah. Was there no point in your mind where you was a bit doubtful of like, you know, what it was going to entail and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. Like at the start, so after I bought the course for £50, I was like, okay, this is like just clearly another sort of like forex sort of scheme. And obviously there's people successful in them, but then there's also people out there. So always had like another kind of doubt in my mind, but I just had a feeling about this one that it's an actual business. Obviously you can have it as a side hustle, but the actual business sort of plan, it's a full-on business. So I thought, you know, it can't really be doubtful about it, although I was a little bit. I thought, you know, people have full-time businesses out of this. Amazon's a massive company, so was a little bit doubtful, but I thought this is at least a business model that I could follow.
And I think that's one amazing thing about Amazon is like, you know, if people are doubtful of whether it's legit and stuff, like it's like obviously, you know, me and Jake have been looking at things over the past like couple of weeks. You can go on SellerAmp, you can see, you know, there's all these like random sellers all selling things. Like some listings have like 30 sellers on, and you can just go on Amazon's website, go on Seller Central, and see that you can literally create an account and you can become a seller today. So there's like there should be no doubt in everyone's mind that it could be a scam. You know, everything's there in the flesh. You can just go on Google Amazon Seller Central, you can find out how it all works and stuff like that. You know, there is no doubt in my mind or anyone else, you know, and there should be no doubt in anyone's mind that it is a scam. You know, it's totally legit.
Prove it with literal like actual statistics.
At the end of the day,
facts.
they're all, anyone who's selling on Amazon, after you've been selling for a while, they'll request all your details, like company details, addresses, everything like that, as you'll know. So like, you've only got to go on Amazon, click on a product, click on the, you know, seller, and then you'll be brought to their seller storefront, and that's literally got customer feedback, all their company details. You can search that on Company's House, see people's names and everything. It's so much more legit than, you know, forex, this, that, and the other, anything else.
If you just think about how much you order off Amazon, so just think about everyone else. Like, there's so much stuff selling on Amazon. It's crazy.
Well, I actually saw something the other day that apparently 86% of the UK use Amazon. Not have Amazon Prime, but use Amazon as a marketplace, and I think 15 million people in the UK have Amazon Prime. So you're basically selling to not just 15 million people, but there's not many businesses. For example, if you have a retail business, you're not getting 15 million people a year walking into your shop.
No way.
If you think about it, it's probably the biggest opportunity that anyone has to reach that many customers that easily. I think if you're opening a new business selling cups or selling microphones, probably the hardest, it's not too hard to find out where to buy them. It's not too hard to, you know, brand them and whatever. The hardest part is bringing customers in who are actually going to buy from you. But with Amazon,
marketing that comes with it, like it's crazy.
There for you for free. There, you don't have to advertise. They're all, you know, you can sell on listings that already sell organically at no, you know, it's no cost to you. Amazon brings the customer to you.
Something that I hadn't looked at before, I accidentally looked at when I was looking at my sales on the Seller Central app, is you can see how many page visits you've had. So I don't know if that's to your page alone or just the product that you're selling combined. And I think I was averaging like 70,000 visits per month around 30 days. Products, yeah. So the products you're selling all combined that's how many people are looking at them. And if you think about, obviously you can advertise on Amazon, it's more so for private label products, but you can, I was getting those sort of numbers organically with no advertising costs. Whereas if you imagine how much it would cost to get 70,000 people to view your website a month. Thousands.
So insane. And even I can say, like, you know, obviously, like, I was just about to say that, you know, for anybody out there who's running any kind of business, who's not doing, you know, TikTok reels and who's really smashing that out, you know how hard it is to get 70,000 sessions in a month. Like, for example, the CCM website probably gets like a fifth or quarter of that amount of sessions every single month. And, you know, we're obviously extremely heavy on on, TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And, for you to be able to get that with zero marketing is unbelievable. And all you have to do is just open an account and, have a product and start selling. It is incredible, to be fair.
Even more than that, that's actually on your product page. That's not just like the search bar. Yeah. That's another page that like they've gone through. Like that's insane. Imagine how much like one of your products is getting searched a month. Like,
exactly. I think it depends what you're selling and like how many items you are selling. Like I've done some advertising before, just like a different strategy for advertising. You're not really spending very much money. It's just like helping with your sales. But within a month, that was doing like 2.5 million impressions a month.
That's
just like just looking at my product that I have the buy box for.
Yeah. So let's just say like you had a store and it was just like Jake's selling like cameras or whatever. Like if you just made that store and launched it tomorrow, you have no like authenticity in that store. But as soon as you sell on Amazon, someone will buy off there in like 2 seconds in a heartbeat. We know, like
it's so
just
trusted.
instant
It's
trust.
the biggest company. Everyone trusts Amazon at the end of the day as well. I think it's like, it's the biggest company there is. Do you know what I mean? Everyone thinks that when you buy something off Amazon, or I did, I don't know if you did. Yeah. When you first, buy something off Amazon, I thought Amazon was selling it, man.
Yeah. I thought exact same.
And I'm pretty sure probably everybody out there listening to this, especially, on other platforms and stuff, you'll be thinking, when you buy something on Amazon, it's coming from Amazon. And I thought this for years, but it's just coming from an everyday Joe who's probably sat in his bedroom and he's just shipping out boxes every day.
It's only about 50% of the products on there, or the 50% of the purchases on there that actually are coming from Amazon. The rest are people like you, me, and everyone else who does Amazon full time and part time. They might sell one thing, they might sell two things, but it's still coming from someone's bedroom.
I thought the same. I thought it was all from Amazon, unless it was like a specific brand, like for example, like I don't know, like Rode, for example, like unless they're selling it themselves just on Amazon. Then apart from that, I thought it was from Amazon as well. So when I found out you could sell branded products, everyday branded products, and you can sell them yourself, like the brand's already established. You don't have to establish your own brand. It's all done for you. You just have to buy it at a cheaper price.
All the marketing and everything is all done for, like Rode. Think how many millions of pounds they will have spent on marketing. All done for you.
You've made a quality product, and then all you've got to do
years
is
of heritage as well. Like years of making quality products, and then you can just go, okay, I'm just gonna buy some Rode mics and I'm gonna sell them. And obviously, there's other things involved. You can't sell every product. You can't sell every product with ease, can you? Yeah. If you obviously have to get ungated and things like that. But it's just such an amazing service, and it really does make sense. It's like, why would you not want to get why would you not want to put your foot in the door of such a large market share with and let the quality? It's like, oh well, if I wanted to get like same day, next day delivery, think how much money it's almost impossible for your business to provide that kind of service that Amazon can provide.
Where else in the UK, other companies, do you know that you can get same day delivery?
I don't know.
Maybe like shopping things like Waitrose or something, but that's only because it's coming from like 5 minutes away from your house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but when you break a tripod or whatever and you need it same day, but where else are you going to go?
You might buy a tripod, some toilet rolls, some coat hangers, and they'll all come at the same time. It's because there's so many fulfillment centres across the UK. When you send all your inventory into one, they'll spread it out across all of them. So everywhere in the UK has next day or same day. So
is that how they do it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they decide like system. So like when you send your products in, you don't say for example you're 5 minutes from a fulfillment centre. It's not, well, it could be getting sent there, but it's unlikely that it is Amazon.
Yeah, usually it's not, is it?
Yeah, usually it's not. Like they'll send it to all across the UK, and I think it's wherever it's getting sent is based on those products are most suited for customers in that region.
Yeah, they'll have that data. So
so
imagine how much data they've got.
It'd be insane. The spending habits of people in different areas must be insane.
Must be crazy. But like you're saying, you were talking about SD cards before, weren't you? And you can imagine like SD cards in a city centre like this, probably in city centres mostly, they're probably not going out to rural areas, they're probably just going to like city centres, hubs where people are, obviously in offices, recording, using cameras on the regular, and that's where everything's going to get spread. It's such an insane system, and it's crazy how, you can start taking advantage of this. You can start this up as your side, so you can leverage Amazon and everything they've built and everything all these other brands have built to make money for yourself as a side hustle whenever you've got a full-time job, part-time job, and you can even make it a full-time job eventually just selling on Amazon. It's a crazy side hustle. I really think it is.
I think that's a part that like most people don't think about at all. They just think, oh yeah, I can sell on Amazon. But when you take a step back and look at someone else, all these other companies have paid for their advertising and everything to grow their brands. Then Amazon bring all the customers to you, pay for all the advertising. You're literally in the best position ever starting a business. If someone come to you with like a completely pre-marketed product that's 50 years old and most of the UK, you'd say yes, wouldn't you?
They come with this insane business plan. You just be sat there like,
and they'll
you even
ship
need
it all
me?
out
Like,
for you as
what?
well. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
It's total no-brainer.
Which is why I suppose some people think, well, this is clearly a scam, isn't it? But
Yeah, a lot of people think it's too good to be true, but like when I first started, you don't have to start it as a business. It can be a side hustle. I'd say, like, maybe being biased, but that and reselling are probably the two easiest things to be as a side hustle. Especially now, if you wanted an extra, even a couple £100 a month, especially now, is going to help a lot of people out. Now more than ever, like, you know, that extra £200-300 can literally be the difference of, you know, if a family can eat or put the heating on. So it's quite a massive difference, and it's so, I don't want to say it's too easy, but it's so easy to make that kind of level of money on the side with a couple hours a week. If you want to put it into a full-time business, it's the same as every business. It's going to have to put a lot of work in, but you don't have to ship all the orders to customers individually. You're not dealing with customer service. You've already got branded products, like we said, so all that time that it would take years to build up is cut out for you, basically, for paying Amazon fees, and that's it.
I think another thing with it as well, it's like you can scale your store to however small or large you like. Do you know what I mean? The more hours you put in, the more you can scale it to. But like if you've got a full-time job, it's still widely accessible. You just know that you're not going to be full-time on it, so it's not, you know, it's not going to do crazy numbers, but it's still going to, you know, match your wage or double your wage. It depends how much work you're putting in, but it's so accessible.
From doing like very relatively small months, I was probably making about £1,000 profit a month from a couple products, and then within 2 months I'd tripled the amount of products profit, and well, revenue was like quadrupled
while having a full-time job.
Whilst having a full-time job. And then I got a couple of my mates on it because, you know, everyone's skeptical to get into it, but I had one product in particular which I don't sell anymore, so I can disclose what it is, but it was microfiber cloths. So these were probably one of my best products ever. You know, they're used for everyday use, and I was getting...
Was this in lockdown?
No, it was after lockdown.
Was it?
Well, like, it was, all the restrictions were pretty eased, and then I only stopped selling them not that long ago. So,
because I can imagine I know in lockdown everyone was just going on a cleaning frenzy, so just like microfibers must have been going insane.
Well, I think they were mainly getting used for cleaning people's cars and people have a car. So, and they're a reusable product. Like, you know, people are going to be repurchasing them. So, I got to the point there where there was only one seller on the listing, so I was the second seller. I was telling Jake earlier that I was getting 2 deliveries a month. I got really good friends with the person delivering them. And it was a small distributor near where I stayed. It was this older guy that delivered them. Got really good mates with him. So I'd get 2 deliveries a month, 600 units each. And it was making, so I'd do, essentially after I found the product, 2 days work a month, and maybe like 4 or 5 hours packing each time. And it would make £1,500 every single month. Don't have to change the price.
So was that profit or was that?
No, that's profit,
Wow.
So can you just break down, like, literally, so you found that supplier for that product, you see that you could be the second listing. You go to him, you've agreed a price or whatever, you know you can make X margin. Like, you bought it from him, what happens? You bought it from him, he comes to you.
So originally reached out to the brand. Brand were a massive kind of old-fashioned company. So they already had distributors in certain regions. They wouldn't open any new accounts. So put me in touch with a distributor, had a phone call or a coffee with them. Got some prices off them, put in a couple small orders, a couple £100 to make sure they would actually sell. Sold out within 2 days, I think, something like that. So then I just placed larger orders. You know, I'd speak to them maybe half an hour every time he delivered them. So I got pretty good friends with him, got better prices, and 2 days a month, 2 orders a month, and £1,500 profit a month.
Insane.
That is insane.
Just from one product.
One product, and you would never have to worry about advertising, pricing, because there was only me and one other seller on the listing. Really easy product to package. A lot of people think, you know, you have to either ship them out yourself or how does it work? So get them delivered. They'd be in packs of 10. I'd put my unique label on them, just a simple barcode, box them back up in the same boxes they came in, so no packaging costs. Paid UPS to pick them up, which is quite crazily cheap. Blows your mind.
It's massively incentivized by Amazon. I think they take quite a cut from it, but it's because they're doing so much business with
Yeah.
UPS.
Well, they'll have a massive deal with them,
Yeah.
like a massive contract, so they
Yeah.
get it at the
I
cheapest
think
price.
it's like a box, quite a big box, like, you know, that sort of big
Yeah.
box, up to about 15
15
kg.
kg.
It's like a fiver, something
Yeah,
like
fiver
that, which you'd
max.
pay ridiculous if you sent that
If
raw
you,
mail.
if you took that to the post office, you'd probably get charged
Yeah.
at least 15,
Have your
20
trousers
pounds.
Yeah,
pulled
yeah.
down.
Parcel Force is doing you for that one.
And then UPS would come collect it, and then that would be the work for that product. The hardest part's finding the product, but I think I got quite lucky with that one. The day that I tried to source them, I found it pretty quickly within an hour. So if you condensed it down to what the actual work was, it's like 3 hours. 3 hours to find the products or something like that, and then maybe 8 hours maximum a month packaging it, and then that's
A
it.
1,500 quid profit.
And then I think that was the turning point to get one of my mates involved in it, because he was like, you know, that's a wage from one product.
Yeah.
So it can be like
Especially
crazy,
at
it blows your mind.
the age, you know, we are at the minute as well. That is like a good wage, though.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
That's-
My friends
that's
earn,
more-
do you know what I mean? That's like more than a good
Yeah.
wage, especially to be able to do on top of your job that you were doing at the time as well.
Yeah.
You pack it up on a weekend or something, and you've got 4 weeks
And
to
you
just
find
work.
3 more products exactly the same, and you before you know it, you're making like £3 profit every single month.
Yeah.
And that, a tie with your normal job as well. It's like insane, but obviously it takes a lot of time. But it's insane. And like, what do you actually need to start this? This is what I was just thinking. Then you probably need a computer, a printer, and a bit of storage.
Yeah.
And
I was just thinking
Not
about the
even really a
actual-
bit of storage when you first start. You can. I mean, I don't know if you did, but I did the exact same. I just used to fill my kitchen, so many boxes in my kitchen, and it's so doable from home. If you've got a little garage or whatever, people always think like, "Do I need a storage unit? Do I need a warehouse?" And straight away, you don't. You don't have to have one. Again, it's like scaling up. So by the time you need one, you're going to be able to make it. You're going to be making the money to be able to pay for one anyway. So
The
it's not
skills that you
particularly
actually
an issue.
need to start FBA are probably less than your normal 9 to 5. Like,
Yeah,
you
definitely,
stick a
definitely,
label
yeah.
on a thing and send it off to Amazon. Like,
There's a few,
everybody
like,
has that skill.
Sticky points where you got to make sure you tick the right box, things like this. And
Yeah.
the hardest part is knowing how to go out and find the products yourself,
Yeah.
unless you're doing retail and online arbitrage. But yeah, it's
Those are skills that everybody can learn. Though.
Exactly.
Everybody has these
Exactly.
skills, so you just need to use your brain. Like, it's not
100%,
hard.
Yeah.
Most
you
people
obviously-
who've done, like, especially, so the only other part, apart from physically labeling them, is obviously speaking to people, customer service with like brands or suppliers. If you've done like a customer service job, worked in a shop, spoke to people basically,
Yeah.
you'll know how to communicate with brands. You know,
Yeah,
you're just speaking to someone else in your position.
Yeah, it's building
at the
a
brand.
relationship at the end of the day.
Yeah,
We
that's it.
were saying earlier how valuable all these skills that we get from it
Yeah.
were. Anyway, like I picked you up earlier, never met you before. We just went out for lunch. Like
Yeah.
never spoke to you before. And we had a great conversation. Do you know what I mean? But we
Exactly,
said that
yeah.
was more because we have all these skills from Amazon. We talk to people that we never know on the phone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you end
Actually, I
up being
applied like
very good at it.
with the communication skills you learn from just speaking to brands and things like that. I applied it to my work quite a lot. I wasn't the best at speaking to like higher up people in work. So now, you know, I could speak to anyone of any level in work,
Yeah.
and you just realize there's the person at the end of the day you can just speak to them.
Yeah,
So they're
100%.
transferable from FBA to work or your work to FBA as well. Like you know, it's not something that you need like a degree and you need to be a genius to be able to do, really.
Yeah, so we was obviously just on about then during our break. We was on about Brevitas, and you can imagine. Is that what they're called?
What is it?
Brita or Brita, one of the
Brita.
Oh,
one of the-
Brita.
It's like the water
Brita. I
thing.
call it Brita.
I thought, yeah, Brita.
Yeah,
That's
whatever it is.
something
It's
like
that
that.
water
that's what
filter
you're
jug in
talking
it.
But you can imagine things like that on Amazon must go insane. And how you was just saying then, how many do they actually sell a month, or how much does it sell a month?
So I thought I managed to get these at a good price, and then it was just the margins were just slightly too tight. But when they peaked for whatever reason it was, so they were doing like 500 units a day, but they were like £30 or
Silly
something
numbers.
like that.
Yeah.
So like the monthly revenue was like a minimum of like $250,000.
That's just there's so many Brita listings.
There's
like
so
Yeah,
many.
yeah,
20,
That's-
30 Brita
That's quite a big
listings.
product, which obviously like fees and shipping
Yeah.
fees and stuff are higher.
Yeah.
But there's like, I saw them in Sainsbury's once unreduced. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I want them as a wholesale product though. But they were like tap filters, so they're a tiny little box, and even them, I think they done like something like 20k a month revenue.
Yeah.
Not as big as that, but some of the stuff is just like you would never expect.
But you can imagine things like that. Like if I was gonna buy one of them, I would just go on Amazon. Like that'd be the typical product that
Where
like
would you
people are
go
gonna buy.
to get
I
one?
know.
Do you
Where
know?
would I
It's either
go?
like that or like you walk past it in
Sainsbury's.
Tesco, like you say,
exactly.
and
You
it's
have to
reduced.
find like a supermarket size one.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well. It
yeah.
can't be like a convenience
And then
store
like
one.
carry it back as well.
Yeah.
Like that's too much effort now. It's delivered to my door same day.
But I guess there's like a filter on whatever in that, and that's like a consumable thing in there.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
have to,
Yeah.
and you get an upsell on that, like it's crazy.
But you can imagine people are probably buying them in the hundreds of thousands of units every single month, and obviously economies of scale massively come into play when doing things like that. But it's insane, like how things like that can sell. And have you got any other examples of products that that you've sold? Obviously, you can tell us about like your journey, and what was like that second, third product that you ever sold on Amazon?
So, first ever product. I think it was
Wait,
actually,
just before you get into that first product, how much did you actually start with?
okay, so before I registered my actual company, my first ever order was £500.
Yeah.
That was on cupcake boxes. So spent £500 on cupcake boxes, sold out. And like,
See Jake there, like cupcake
Well, no,
boxes.
it's true, and then I remember,
Yes, I remember. Jake made lots of money on
probably
that.
on Jake's listing.
Probably was, yeah.
Yeah, so spent like £500 on them. The price just got tanked on them. And then I ended up selling them for probably like 8 months. They were one of my best products.
You were late to the party, lad.
I was late to the party.
Joined the party early. Cupcake money was
I think
different.
Jake because when I tried to get them, there was no stock, and then
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Jake that cleared the stock out. But my second ever product, which I looked at selling again recently, but the sales weren't as good as last year, was it's called Rose Clear. So it was like a spray you could buy in a supermarket or a garden centre. You spray it on your roses to keep them fresh or something like that.
Wow.
So then when I'd registered my company, it was my first wholesale kind of larger order. I think I bought 500 units. It was $2,000. So then that's basically what I started with. I transferred $2,000 into my business account, placed a $2,000 order. It was my second ever order. I didn't have time to test it because I think I bought it in like June. Obviously, it's a seasonal product. Seasonal product. So I didn't have time to test it. So I bought 500 of them for $2,000.
500, is that like a large order? Because I know like where some people go wrong, like I've heard horror stories, people just buy, like seeing a product, it's so good, they'll buy like hundreds of it and they'll just sit there after like 10.
That's what I was going to ask you. How often did that product sell?
Yeah, so when I got that, I was going to obviously always do kind of test order, much smaller monetary value and quantity. Because when I got this delivered, this was my first ever big delivery. I got a shock. It was a massive pallet. A massive lorry came down my street, kind of
You don't
shut
expect
the
it, do you? I remember my first pallet. I thought it was just going to be like a couple of boxes.
Yeah.
And you
Postman
I
bringing
looked
it in.
outside and it's just this huge load with a guy with a forklift pulling a pallet down my driveway. Like this. I was thinking like, Jesus, my mum's
Mum's gonna kill me. Yeah.
I'll need to show you some photos of it because I got a massive pallet and then again like the lorry just shut down the road because like the road's pretty narrow and this massive lorry just parked like on my curb outside my house, and then got the pallet in the drive and then unboxed it and then filled my whole living room, my whole bedroom, hallway, everywhere with them. And that was like the biggest risk I probably took because they said they were selling but I didn't know if they were selling until I sent them in. So spent I think like a day or two packing them, sent them in. And I was averaging, I think, about 100 sales a day. So I basically
You was
sold
averaging that?
Yeah.
Wow,
Because
okay.
when I got in,
That's fast.
I timed it perfectly where there's FBA and there's FBM.
Yeah.
For those that don't know the differences, FBA, Amazon's going to fulfill your orders. You're going to get prime next day delivery. FBM, you're sending them from your warehouse or your office or whatever. So delivery time's usually slightly longer. So if you're an FBA seller, you can actually sell the product for more than the FBM seller.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, this is one thing I was going to ask. So when you're selling, like compared to an FBM seller, if you like, even if it's like £2 more on your end, let's say, will you take the top of the listing? How does it work with like the buy box? How does that like? Do you take the top of the listing if you're on FBA?
Yeah, it sort of depends. It depends on the product. It depends how expensive the product is.
Yeah.
As an FBA seller, you'll get more advantage and more priority over the buy box.
Yeah.
But that is because Amazon give the buy box to, the person who has the mix of the cheapest price, fastest delivery, and best like customer feedback percentage. So obviously some of these FBM sellers have like 3, 4, 5 day delivery, and they seem to prioritize delivery a lot more over price, but only to an extent. So it completely depends, it's product to product, but say, you know, you've got a FBM product for about £24, you'd probably be able to get the buy box FBA about 26, 27,
easily,
and you'd be taking pretty much all the sales, apart from people who aren't prime, who wouldn't see the difference in it. They would just be shown the, you know, the lowest seller on there. But
when I was selling them, there was only FBM sellers on just with the time I got on. So I think they were selling it at £8.99 and I was selling it at £10.99. And you have like, sometimes there's 2 buy boxes. So there's, you know, get tomorrow, £10.99, and there's willing to wait, £8.99. But the majority, I saw it as like an 80 or 90 to 10% split. So I'd get 90% of the sales or 80%, and they'd get 20. So when I got them in, they were just flying. I would just refresh that. You'd see another 10 units.
Feeling,
the best feeling, and like, this is
when
more
you start.
it's more addictive than anything you can imagine. More addictive than TikTok, anything. You refresh it, the sales go up, the units go up, and they just were like flying off. So I went to place another order of them. But
so how much did you buy them for then? So you're selling 100 a day.
£3.30, £3.40 at the time, I think.
So you're making like £4 profit per one.
So after the fees, I was making roughly, I think, about £2.53 per unit, because it was I think it was
fees and taxes.
Quite,
and all sorts
like after
costs.
all the fees, because I think it was fairly heavy in terms of, it was about a kilogram or something like that.
So it was about £2 profit per unit. You said how much were you buying them for?
I was buying them for £3.30ish.
So you've still got a good ROI.
Yeah, good ROI.
Above 50%.
And then you know you're selling 100 a day. It's like £250 profit every single day. It must be an insane feeling.
It was, and this was my first like month of selling, I think, fully anyway. So the only problem with it is I couldn't buy more of them quick enough because it was seasonal. But they just flew off the shelf, really. So I looked at selling them again this year. There's just not as much, but the seasonal products are a really good one. I try and stay away from them now just so I get more consistent year-round products. But
if you can find one that's a banger, jump on it every time.
Yeah, if you can find one at the right time. Like, I think it's all just about timing.
Just don't assume that that income will keep coming. Because
like Christmas lights are a good example. Like, so I found multiple Christmas lights listings last year. I think about October, which I thought was going to be in enough time, but I was too late. They were sold out. But I was looking at the revenue on all the listings. I got an account directly with a brand. I was looking at the margins, and the margins were crazy. It was a minimum 70% ROI per product, minimum like £4 or £5 profit per unit, and they were doing thousands of sales in obviously November, December.
Christmas
imagine the
really is
flying
a
out.
banger, but if you're buying like wholesale products for Christmas, I don't know if you've seen, but stuff sells out like
You need to
like
get in early, I can imagine.
October, like real early.
I can imagine a lot of people have stock from the year before of lights and whatever.
Yeah,
so
some
like,
people do. Some people buy in like summer, like those huge, you know, sellers will buy in summer. And if you buy tactically, you're looking at brands that, you know, do sell really well, but they're still relatively small brands. If you can literally just buy out all their stock, you are choosing the price on there. Do you know what I mean? They're not coming from anywhere else. But
you get all the stock of them basically. With the Christmas lights, that's what they said to me. They said, our orders usually sell out by July.
Yeah.
So once you get to the stage of you've got enough revenue, you've got enough cash flow to buy them, like you said, you could buy them all and decide how much they sell for, essentially.
Yeah. The only thing is you're just tying up that cash for so long, but I suppose that's more like we are now. We're not just starting out anymore. You do have cash that you can tie up for, you know, situations like that when you are getting like 100% plus ROIs easily.
So as you may have gathered from this podcast, Amazon is a great side hustle for those who are already experienced in making money from side hustles. The best way to make more money from a side hustle is to add another one to your roster. The greatest thing about Amazon is its natively high ceiling height. The more time you invest with Amazon, the more you can make. So let's say you want to scale your Amazon business to £10,000 monthly revenue or even £25,000 monthly revenue. It's more than doable. To be clear, we're talking about Amazon Wholesale here. So how can you learn Amazon? As most of you know, we've been teaching people reselling for the last 3 years with an impeccable record and trust between our customers. We are launching a new business called Seller Circle, and this will be everything Amazon education related. And if you want to find out more, click the link in the description to join our free Discord. Now back to to the podcast.
And I think a good thing to be touched on really quick as well is, because I imagine there's a lot of people listening who have done like retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, but what we're discussing now is wholesale Amazon, isn't it? So what's the difference between retail arbitrage and wholesale arbitrage? You know, what's benefits and stuff like that? I think that'd be really interesting to know.
Do you want to or should I?
You go for it.
So online and retail arbitrage is more, it's usually buying from like supermarkets, things like that. They're usually reduced products. It could be like end of line, deleted lines, so they're just not selling them anymore. They'll usually be on clearance, very, very cheap. So usually at like Tesco's cost price or sometimes even cheaper. Obviously with products like that, you know, if Tesco comes to you, then they're going to be getting a good price because they're buying so many. So you would never be able to find that product from a wholesaler or even direct from brands usually for so cheap because you don't have the buying power of Tesco. And then those are obviously limited deals. Like for example, you could have, 5 hairdryers or something. You would only be able to get those 5. But you would make good margins on them, usually like real high ROIs compared to wholesale. But wholesale is a little bit different. You're going out and finding these deals from brands, from distributors, from suppliers, from wholesalers. And it also means that, not everyone else who is looking for these deals in Tesco is jumping on that listing and reducing the price. Doesn't happen all the time, obviously. Online and retail arbitrage is a fantastic place to start. I wish I knew that when I started. Because it is really, really good, especially if you're finding the right leads and things like that. You can make a good side income from it without really doing much at all. Wholesale is more when you want to increase that and scale up, and you can scale to whatever you like and really increase your income and have the potential to take it full time.
I always tried to go straight into wholesale just so that it was more consistent.
That was my idea as well.
I went straight into that, so I don't really do much retail or online arbitrage, but I'll always have a look now. I'll always go into Sainsbury's if I go to the shop, have a look.
If you go in there, you may as well.
I was going to say, I bet you're always scanning the shelves.
They go to Sainsbury's to do their shopping and they think, blimey, here's 5 hairdryers. They make a tenner each. Like,
pay for some of your
shopping. That's your shopping.
It's now free.
Free shopping.
Half-price shopping at Tesco now.
Yeah.
I've done it recently. I went to Sainsbury's, actually. There was loads and loads of top brands like Braun, Phillips, things like that, discounted.
Yeah.
Nice. I cleared out the local Sainsbury's near me, got the manager to check the back for them, but I think it was 10 or 15 beard trimmers or something like that. It was the first time I'd really ever done it. And then so I phoned my friend up and then we went around all the Sainsbury's we could at the time, kind of rushing to get there before they closed to see if we could get them. And then we found this one shop which again had 20 of them, but they didn't have them on clearance, they had them on full price. So then we asked to scan them, and when we scanned them, they were on clearance. So then we just bought them all as well.
That's why there was 20 left.
Yeah, that's why there was 20 left. Yeah, so that was the jackpot there.
Do you remember how much they were making per unit?
So what happened was, like you said, everyone jumped on them from elsewhere, so they're actually still sat in my room. But the margins on them still are better than a lot of my wholesale products.
Yeah, so you could sell them and make a decent profit.
I think for the
I'm the same. I went out and did that, and it's just still sat in my room because you can't be on stick to wholesale. But
I think the ones that I got, because my friend got the ones that were slightly more expensive, and I think the prices on his has dropped more than the ones on mine. But I think even after everything, after the fees, after your VAT and things like that, it was about £10 profit per unit or something like that. Mad. I think I got about 10 or 12 of them, the ones I got.
Still, like you said, that's amazing. That's like a big weekly shop for free.
Yeah.
And if you just may as well get involved with this. You may as well, go around and check your things while you're going around on the aisle, and make that shopping free. And it's pretty insane how that's actually even possible. How it works so hand in hand with just your daily life and stuff like that.
People talk about fuel going up and stuff like that as well. If you're driving there to do your shopping anyway, free fuel, free food.
It's literally a no-brainer. And like we was on about, so in our new Discord server and stuff like that, we have it split up. So let's say you're going out, you're going to your retail part, you've got an Argos, you've got a Tesco, you've got 2 other shops, we're going to have specific channels where you can go and check for any recent leads, so you can then go in, literally, you just pop straight into where you are and, just pop in for a couple of minutes, see if you've got any products. You can even just go to the manager and ask, have you got this X product in?
That's what I do when I try it.
Exactly. There's no point in going looking around. You may as well just
show
go
them
pop
down
in.
there straight away. They'll type in the code on their screen and take you right to it.
There you go. Absolutely amazing. It's amazing. And I can't wait to even do a YouTube video of us actually going around and doing stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to try it. Yeah,
100%. 100%. It'll be really cool.
We'll see if we can fill your car's petrol with one trip.
Yes. That's a banger.
There's a banger.
But anyway, so fast forward from there, you know, you've done this rose stuff. What was after that? What came for you next after, you know, the rose spray and stuff like that in terms of products and stuff?
So I think the next one I had after that was another seasonal one, which again was just like crazy. It was ants, like bait stations. So you'd put them in your garden, get all the ants, get rid of them all, things like that.
Wow.
So again, these were tiny little things. You'd probably fit like into the one box you'd send for like a $5.
Yeah.
You'd probably fit like 500 of them
Yeah.
if you could get them. Like,
That's what you're really looking for, though, into like, is that not like an ideal product?
That's
for
an
you?
ideal
If you
product.
can find them, then
If
yeah.
you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
find them. So again, the problem with that one was that it was seasonal, but I phoned every garden centre basically in Scotland and said, however many you have, I'll just buy the lot of them. And again, I don't even have the buy box because there was an FBM seller selling them for like £3, and I was selling them for £8, but they were still selling as soon as, like, because Amazon check your stock in to make them active. So as soon as one went active, it would sell. Literally the exact second it was going active, it would sell. So I managed to get, I think, maybe like 50 of them from one garden centre, and they were so confused, especially a garden centre, why I try to buy them all.
They don't get it, do they?
Yeah, no,
This
they
guy's
don't
got
get
so many ants.
You've got a really big garden.
So they were another one that was just like kind of opened my mind to like how crazy and how like just the random things you would never see, everyday things. Like if you look about like the room you're in, there's like, for example, the water filter.
Yeah.
There's a product that does like crazy numbers. I remember that ant like bait stations were doing something again like 90,000 a month revenue. Wow. So if you had enough stock, you could make on an average what 20%.
That was probably just one very specific.
I know.
Yeah,
Well.
yeah, it was.
Who thinks that ants things would do 90k a month?
That, if anything,
Isn't
proves
it?
the scale of Amazon, really, doesn't it? If
Yeah.
a random ant station, I mean, there's probably 30 on there, do you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
one of them does 90 grand a month, that shows the scale
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Amazon. If your business is doing 90 grand a month, like that's, you know, a relatively good business. In
Oh
the
mate, it's
UK.
an
great
amazing business.
business.
Like a
Yeah,
25% like profit margins, like you're
Yeah.
saying. You know, that's absolutely cracking. And like, you know, like you said, it's just so easy to scale. It's just like, well, I'll search for more products, and you know, obviously you're gonna have ones coming and going and stuff like that. You're gonna have some rotation of products, you know. But at the end of the day, the fundamental thing is that how many products can you find, and then how many can you actually get a hold of? You know, it's so scalable, and that's what the difference is in it between like retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and wholesale.
So
it's a
scalable
total different
because
game.
It's up to you to go out and do the work and find the products. It's
Yeah.
not just walking into Tesco or looking in the chat, things like that. But it's definitely the best place to start, without a doubt. I wish I could have done it.
So how much was you buying these off the garden centre for?
Something crazy like £1.50, £1.90 max.
That's insane.
because I bought 50, that was considered to them as a
obviously.
bulk discount. Which, you know, if you do that at a wholesaler, that's probably not, like, that's a pretty small order.
Yeah.
Some wouldn't even give you 50.
Yeah,
would
they
they?
would give you 50.
It's probably dead stock to them. They're probably like, my God, this guy just bought all these. Like,
We've had them since 2006.
Yeah.
So
if
yeah,
they
I
just
think
jumped on Amazon.
I was buying them for about, round about that. And then like the Amazon fees weren't much because, like you said, it was a tiny little product.
Small.
Yeah, £5 max to ship them all. And then again,
that was £5 to ship all of them into Amazon. That's all 500 you're talking about
Yeah,
there, isn't
yeah.
it, in one box?
yeah, you can fit. I've had products in the past as well, which still currently sell on and off, but they're the same. You can fit. I've ordered 600 units and they came in 2 boxes, and I've reused the same 2 boxes, 300 units per box. Fees are pretty small in relation to the price because it's such a small and light product. And again, to send it to Amazon with UPS, 10 or max for 2 boxes, 600 units. And then the actual value of the products and the profit in those boxes can be thousands of pounds, really.
Incredible.
I think a thing to note about the fees as well, we always mention fees. What people don't realise is you only charge that fee once you've sold a product.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're getting that money anyway. It's not like you have to pay all these fees up front, things like that. You only are charged fees when a product sells. So it's just the money that you don't get. You're still getting, you know, your profit and the cost of the product back out.
Exactly,
You just don't get that fee from the sale price.
So is there any base fee? Because obviously with eBay, I believe on eBay you do have to pay. Oh no, I think it on eBay it is actually when you sell it.
No, it's when you sell it.
Yeah.
Unless you do
there's-
like some kind of custom listing where it's like...
when you go to a professional account, I think it's 25 a month, excluding VAT, to have a professional account, which means you can sell, you know,
£30.
Yeah, a lot of products a month. So it's
£30
minimal
per
cost.
month. That's it, and I think that's also only if you you only get charged it once you actually make the first sale.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you set up an account now and never sold anything for a year, you know, you'd be getting charged. You get charged nothing until you start selling, but you sell for literally £30 a month.
They were giving out like UPS credits as well. I'm not sure if they still are, but I know a couple of months ago, if you were signing up for a professional plan, which is the one that you need to be able to sell, you know, more than, I can't remember how many it is. They were giving out like £80 worth of UPS vouchers, which is what, 10 to 16 boxes, something like that. I mean, that you don't even have to worry about any cost then, do you?
So at this point, you're obviously like making a good revenue from Amazon selling ant stuff and whatever beforehand. Is your family seeing how many boxes are coming in and how much you're making? Like, what do they think of this?
Yeah, so like we were talking about storage earlier, I still do everything out of my house. So it's got, sometimes it's a bit out of hand. It's a bit out of hand right now because I've got some products that are still there.
Get to the kitchen.
So sometimes it is a bit out of hand, but then what we do is I get them in, say, on a Monday, and then I'll pack them. My mum helps me pack them. My girlfriend helps me pack them. So we've got 3 people packing them. And then they're usually out by the Tuesday. So they're in your house for like one day. And then if you get them on a Friday, they're in the house for the weekend until the Monday.
The faster you can get stuff out, the better, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Your cash is just sitting there dead if it's
literally.
Yeah, so it's a constant, you know, to help the cash flow. As soon as they're in, you're in packing them, getting them out the next day. But that's why storage is so good, because you can, you know, as long as you've got the physical space to store them for 24 hours, then you can store them for 24 hours in the house.
I suppose it depends on, you know, how big your house is, how lenient your parents or Wi-Fi, do you know what I mean? Or, you know, or husband, it's dependent, isn't it? But if not, you can, you know, go for a storage unit. You can start with a small one, which just fits a couple of boxes in for relatively cheap a month. I know with mine, you can move up and down. So I can say, I want double the size for the next 2 weeks. They're like, fine, we'll put it on the invoice. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, I can go back down again. So a lot of them are really flexible. You can get like shipping containers and things like that on like farmers' fields and all sorts. There's so many different creative ways. Someone was saying the other day, he lives in London, one of my mates, so like storage is really expensive there. So we worked out it's actually cheaper just to spend like 500 quid and build a shed in the garden. It was like a big shed and it's 500 quid one cost, do you know what I mean? That size of shed in London, like in a storage unit, be like 500, 600, 700 quid a month. I mean, you just got to pay it once and, you know, you can store everything in there.
Charge rent for that shed in London.
Exactly, yeah.
That's crazy. So obviously, you know, you continue to sell and stuff like that. When you initially go to set up your Amazon account, do you need to have a business registered, or can you set it up as like a personal account at first? How does that work?
Like, well, it's called individual, isn't it? You can set up as an individual first. To be honest, then you can go as a sole trader if you want to be a sole trader before you go to a limited company. But once you are, you need to go for that professional plan and move forward. But you know, if people don't want to, you know, set up as a limited company, you can literally just go as a sole trader. It's really easy to do. Just do it on the Gov website, and then you can just convert to limited company as well. It's not too complicated.
So that's what I was thinking. I was just thinking of like, you know, what are the barriers to entry? You know, can you do like a quick test product? Can you know send a box in as an individual and sell them? Is there any like, you know, drawbacks to doing so? Or
Pretty much everything just comes at a real tiny cost. Like limited company, it's 12 quid. Do you know what I mean? It's like
realistically
minimal. If you're worried about 12 quid, then I wouldn't advise that you start selling on Amazon because
100%.
You know what I mean. You are going to have costs and things like that, but I don't worry about the cost because at the end of the day, my business is still making money, and I know that those, without paying that, you know, those costs, those shipping fees, those storage unit fees, then I wouldn't be able to make the money. So I think a lot of people get like misconstrued, like, I don't want to pay that much in fees, I don't want to pay these costs, but it's like, doesn't matter because you wouldn't be able to make that profit without, so like you sort of have to pay them.
You have to.
It's minimal because you know, it's not really affecting your cash flow that much either.
When you're starting out, like you need £30 max to set up the account. Some softwares, again, not very expensive, and then if I started as an individual. Said first order was £500. That was on my personal like credit card, wasn't through a business. And then as I obviously saw the sales coming in, I wanted to take it a bit further. Then, you know, a couple £100 a month. Then it was £12 to register my company. I didn't know how easy it was to register my company as well.
I thought making a company was like the most complex thing in the world.
Or you had to have an accountant to make a
takes
company.
Like 10 minutes.
10 minutes, YouTube video, and £12 is all it took.
So have you got any like? I was wondering if you got any like horror stories or anything that's like
that I really want to
know. Like anything that's like gone a bit bad that people could like learn for listening to this. Is anything like ever like stung you or anything like that? Because obviously it's not a risk-free side hustle. It's not like just with anything in life. Nothing's 100% risk-free. Things can be 99% risk-free, but like are there any times where you've been like obviously made a mistake and you've learned from it and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, to be honest, this is the only business I think I've lost less than £1,000 in.
Really?
Like I said, I've done Forex trading, done other trading, lost
must
thousands.
Be a good one then.
Yeah, it must be a good one. So done that and then lost money there. But then, like I said, you always do test orders of lower quantities, and they're usually pretty cheap as well. So you have measures in place to obviously make sure they sell, like software and things like that. So worst comes to worst, you would lose £100 on a test order, but if that,
it's very rare. And at the end of the day, the way me and you do it now, I don't even do test orders anymore because I'm so confident in the methods that I use to ensure that something is selling.
That they will.
It's very rare. Sometimes I will do one because of each factor or whatever, but it is very rare if you're doing it properly and you know exactly what you're doing and how to do it that you would ever lose any money really.
Yeah, I can't remember any time that I made one mistake actually where I lost £150, and that was down to like product sourcing at like 1 or 2 a.m. Well, I found a product.
Been there,
Red Bulls 2D.
I thought I'd found a product that was like 300% ROI. Thought I'd just hit the jackpot. Was like, this is brilliant. And what it was is it was a coaster, which had like sort of flowers and bees and things like that on it. A fruity little coaster. So found this, got an account with a brand. Already had an account actually. I thought, oh, that's 300% ROI. I was going to make thousands a month. Was so happy at like 2 a.m. Ordered a test order of like £150 worth. And then I got them, labelled them all, sent them in, couldn't wait for them to land. And then I realised that the like margins that I was looking at and the listing I was looking at was for a table mat, which was the exact same design, exact same product images, until I scrolled down and saw one keyword that was different. And then I had to get it. Well, I decided, I thought, rather than getting it sent back, then to be honest, like I could have got the stock sent back from Amazon and probably sent it back to the supplier and just got a refund.
Yeah.
Or sold it on the right list.
Or sold it on the right listing. But I thought, at the time it was on, I was doing like pretty good revenue, so I thought I'll just get Amazon to dispose of it. But that's literally
a rich move.
So what actually happens there? So you've obviously listed it as the wrong product. You've sent it to Amazon. They just email you back saying that no, it's not the wrong product. What do you want to do? I'll send it back on dispose.
They don't even email you, do they? No, you just realise, I guess.
Yeah.
You would either realise yourself or you would get like a customer complaint, which you can take off anyway. And then what you said, you can do a removal order. So you can get them... Amazon will give you some money for them, or you can dispose of them where Amazon literally just like, I don't know what they do. Knows what they do with them. They probably get lost in a back street somewhere. Or you can have them returned to your house as well, which is the most useful. I've done that a lot of the times because I've done the same thing. It's very easy to do. You literally print out the wrong labels and you're selling 2 products, but there's 2 listings. You send the wrong amount to each one. You can bring them back, and again, it does cost you. I don't know how much it costs you, but it's not very much. It's sort of subsidised the same as UPS's, so like it really doesn't cost very much to bring.
I've done the exact same thing in shoes, just like shipping up like 5 boxes of shoes. Send someone they'll get like a £500 shoe, and this guy will get like £100 shoe. And one's buzzing and one's crying.
I thought I was going to, the microfiber cloths that I was talking about, when Amazon increased their fees a little bit, and then the competitor, I guess, after months got fed up of me taking a lot of the sales, he basically lowered his price, so he was undercutting me. I just got a delivery of, again, like my usual delivery, 600 units, which was about £2,000 or something like that. Just all sat in my room, and then I worked it out that I was going to be at break even on it. Mm-hmm. And I was getting all annoyed about it and things like that. But then I realised that because you stick to a minimum sort of profit margin and ROI that you'll do, rather than sending the stock back, it was too late for that. I think to send the stock back to the supplier, I would have took a 25% return hit, so I would have lost money. I sent them into Amazon and just sold them and basically got back exactly what I spent on them. So
that's the thing that I do. If you ever make an issue like that, or the brand comes on and starts selling them, a lot of the time you can still clear it. You're not making the profit you were. You're not losing the money. You just get it back out. It just takes a week or 2 to come back out. That's all. I suppose the only thing you've wasted is a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's it.
So we did touch on that you did actually work at Amazon. What was your actual scope at Amazon?
So yeah, working at Amazon, do infrastructure technician. So that involves like upgrading the site's infrastructure, like their networking infrastructure for like the Wi-Fi and things like that. And then also do IT project management. So I'm actually based in the offices in Edinburgh rather than the warehouses. Because again, when people think about Amazon, they just think it's a warehouse. They don't realize that there's like Amazon own about 10 or 15 other companies. And there's all these organizations within the companies as well. So that's what I kind of do, kind of manage IT related projects such as like how many laptops and MacBooks the offices need across the UK. If an office is getting built, like we recently built one a couple of years ago in Edinburgh, kind of involved with making sure that the site launches on time from an IT perspective. So that's what I do for my day-to-day at Amazon.
Is it fully based in, in a office, or are you like remote?
So it was fully in the office 5 days a week. Before COVID, I feel like most places were like that, unless you simply just didn't live like central enough. So it was like about an hour commute back then, like each way. But then during COVID, it was a mix of both, which is how I started FBA as well. So I was working from home permanently 5 days a week for quite a while, and then it was a mix between the two, kind of 2 days at home, 3 days in the office.
Did you ever go to any of the warehouses?
Yeah, so although I don't work in them, I got a tour of one just to see what it was like, experience the other side of the business. And when you see them in person, like you can see them online and things like that, like the actual scale of them when you go in are like, it blows you away of how big they actually are. So I got a tour around the whole kind of site, and then when I was in there, obviously you see the products, so I was having a look about the place. I thought I may as well try and source some new products when I was in there. So I was going over to where there was pallets worth of stuff and be like, well, that obviously sells pretty well. And then I actually saw the one in Scotland. Well, there's a couple in Scotland, but one of them in Scotland, that's where all the returns go in the UK. So I actually was looking on the shelves of all the different products, and again, it just opens up how many products you can actually sell. So I actually saw a couple of the products that I sold kind of on the shelves in the return section.
But they're obviously huge as well, like these fulfillment centres. They're obviously literally like, they're like acres in size, aren't they, realistically?
They're literally like the biggest buildings in the UK.
I remember seeing like PLT warehouse, and that's obviously massive, but then like that actually blew my head off how big that was, like on a video. And now I just think like the scale of an Amazon warehouse, like how big must that be?
Nothing compared to Amazon.
Literally. And
they've obviously got them all over the UK. Do you know how many there actually are in the UK?
God, there's honestly so many. There's ones opening like all the time.
They're probably working on a few like at all times.
Like so when they are opening one, they usually won't disclose it's an Amazon warehouse until it's fully like built. So to guess, I'd probably say there's probably like, I don't know, 50 maybe.
I'd say 30, 40.
30, something like that.
About that, but well, there's a lot in Scotland, isn't there? On codes, there's a lot in Scotland. There's a lot in Central. There's obviously a lot down London way. It's just population, really. I guess they're more sparsely in Scotland because the population's more sparse. But central areas, there's tons of them. But.
Obviously, you're selling products that people like regularly buy. Have you not got any funny stories of where like you sold something, your mates just bought it or whatever, or someone you know? Yeah,
so like what we were talking about earlier, that most people think when you buy off Amazon, you're actually buying off of Amazon rather than an individual person or business.
Common misconception.
It is, yeah. So when I was speaking to my manager that I basically started selling on Amazon, and he asked kind of what kind of products that I sold. And then when I told him what products that I did sell, which I still sell now, he was like, oh, I bought that last week. I'll give you a clue for it. It's like a ingredient. So he was like, I bought that last week to make these cocktails. So he was like, but I bought it off of Amazon. I was like, no, you probably bought off like me or this other person who was like my competitor on the listing. And then he was like, no, and he was like just fully believable that he bought off of Amazon. So got up his order, and then I was like, scroll down to see who you bought it from, and it was like fulfilled by Amazon, sold by, and then my seller name. And I was like, that's actually me. That
is your Amazon manager.
My Amazon manager bought bought an Amazon pod company on
insane.
Amazon.
It's probably insane.
It's Inception.
Like how many people you sold to? How many people do you think you guys have like sold to? Like how many? Can you
how many
see
orders?
like how many like individual, I suppose how many orders?
Around over 60 figures now. I've done over 100,000 orders.
I think I've done like, well, 5-figure orders. I don't know the exact amount, but multi 5-figure orders. Like, and then you have to think that you've individually labeled those products as well.
So when you're doing that, you know, do you only have to label the box they come in, don't they? So it's like do you have to label each individual one?
So to say you get a box of products come in and there's 10 products in each case. We call it case, and then units inside. So we call it case pack. So one case has 10 units inside. Take them out, put a label on each one, unless it's a barcode already, but I still like to put a label on, and then it relates it to your seller account. Put 10 back in, and then you'll put a label, 2 labels on the box outside as well. That's the same whether you're going UPS or sending on a pallet. And it just means that when it gets to Amazon, they don't have to open it. They can scan it. They know where it's come from, where it's going, what's inside, how many's inside, the weight of them, size of them, everything.
You ever had products lost?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they can be a hit or a miss. But from my experience, the Rose Clear shipment that I was talking about, my first shipment of that, 100 of them got lost/damaged. But within about a week, I got reimbursed not only the product price, you get reimbursed your net proceeds. So
like the sale price.
The sale price. Basically,
wow,
what you would
that's
have
great.
made. So you basically made the profit on them without actually selling them.
Easiest sale ever.
But I suppose they did lose them as well. That's pretty insane to be fair. That's so good how they do that. Like the service they offer is insane.
Yeah, you think how many units they're selling a day, like how much stock is coming into each fulfillment center. That's that big. You're going to lose a tiny little thing every now and again. That's just part of the game. But like you say, they know that they've lost it a lot of the time. They just don't know where it is because it gets scanned at every single point. Every time a box moves, it gets scanned so everyone knows where it is. And if it just goes off the system or whatever, they just reimburse you for it.
Like anyone can go and do an Amazon fulfillment center tour. They host tours either remotely or in person. It'd be better to do it in person so you can see.
Wow, can you just go online and book?
Yeah, you book it.
Have they opened them again since COVID?
I think they have.
They have now.
Because
I
they were
think
doing
it was depending on fulfillment center, wasn't it?
So I think they have now, or if they haven't, then they will again. So they just do a complete tour to the public, and then that will give you an idea, especially if you want to do Amazon FBA and you're doubting, is it saturated? Is there too many people doing it? Is it a scam? If you go to a warehouse, an Amazon warehouse, and see the size of it and see how many products are in it.
Touch things, make sure they're real.
This is real.
That'll answer your question if it's a scam because the size of them are
Do you know
crazy.
If you can take cameras inside?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you.
Knowing what we talked about, you probably can't.
Absolutely no cameras.
Just
go there, just picture it with your mind how mind blowing it actually is. I'm pretty sure there's been some people that I've spoke to when they've been in the warehouse and it's been like very early on in the morning or things like that and the sun's been rising. There's literally, you can see like not like clouds but like smoke coming off the ground in the distance because it's that far away.
Whoa.
So you know if you were like in like a classic like movie scene, if you were in like the desert and you look far away and you see like the sun reflection, it's the same in some of the warehouses because they're that long that you can't actually see the other end of it.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
The scale of that business is like unfathomable. I don't think anyone realizes like how big it is. It's crazy.
There was, when we took a little break then, there was one thing that Willis wanted to know. Basically, has there ever been a time when you've just like not been able to source a product?
Yeah, so I'd say like you go through dry spells, right? You'll probably know as well, like a lot better that like you can sit down, try and source a product and you can find nothing in hours. It's just part of the game. And that's where like, no matter how motivated you are, you just need to be like determined to do it, like and disciplined that you're going to sit and look till you find something. Or if you don't, you're going to do the exact same the next again day. Like I've had days where I've sat for 4 hours and found nothing. And then the exact same, the next again day, exact same time, sit down for half an hour, I'll find one brand.
Yeah.
That's when my
Just look
sales
at the
took
drawer,
off
isn't
actually.
it?
Yeah.
Like I said to you earlier, even if it took you a month to find those microfiber cloths, that's an extra 1.5k a month that you're getting from then onwards for a couple of days' work. What pay rise is that? Do you know what I mean? That's like what's that work out to? 16, 17k
a year. Yeah,
for like a couple of hours work. I mean, even if it took you a year to find it, I'd still take it, wouldn't you?
Literally, like I said the other day, to get a pay rise of like 17 grand, you have to work so incredibly hard. It might take you years and years. You might get like 4k rise this year, 5k rise next year, and even then, that's it's incredibly hard.
Like big pay rises.
Yeah, they're big pay rises.
Something like that, because that's when I originally started. The way I started looking at it, I suppose it depends the way you want to look at it, but before I was looking at it as a full-time business and I was looking at it as side hustle, extra income, that's exactly what I thought. I thought to get an extra 15, 16,000 pound a year, even 10,000 pound a year, in 95% of jobs is not possible.
Yeah.
And within a year anyway,
Yeah.
like the average pay rise is like maybe 4 or 5% when inflation is 9%. So you're essentially not getting a pay rise.
Yeah.
So to get that extra payment or extra onto your wage per year is just like pretty crazy. Yeah.
Side hustles are the easiest way to get like a pay rise. Like it puts it in your own hands, you know, instead of having to, you know, like, or like, you know, butter up your boss or whatever, or, you know, vice versa, you know, like you can just go out and learn this information and, you know, obviously start, even if it takes you 50 or 100 hours, it's still going to happen way quicker than if you just go about getting a normal job. And that's what I'd probably suggest now for anybody who's looking to get a pay rise. It obviously keep working really hard at your job and stuff, but just go out and get a side hustle. There's so many out there these days. Literally, there's literally, we found out about new ones the other day. Like, we were sat in here the other day, and there's literally like 4 side hustles just sat in this like office.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, you know, when you actually think about it, you know, that is definitely the easiest way to get a pay rise these days. It's like, why would you even? Well, not why would you even bother, but like, why would you even bother? Like,
it's like
I think if you haven't got one, then like, what are you doing? You go home and just watch TikTok and shit.
Yeah.
Like that. Like,
it's
totally
literally
pointless.
2 hours on TikTok.
it's a no-brainer, like an actual no-brainer. And once you have the mindset switch, you just see the original bit of profit or money, and you just switch it basically in your head, like as you were saying in the past as well. Like that's all it is, because to get a £200, even a £200 pay rise from a job isn't easy to do.
Yeah, no
and you
way.
could sell, if you're a reseller, you sell 1 pair of shoes and make probably more than that, or about that. Or if you can find one product, and I would say a £200 a month profit product, it's quite a low seller, it's quite a low profit product. I would usually go, like, for example, with the cloths, that's like a wage of a pay rise, basically.
Yeah.
That's like if you were getting paid £1,500 a month, your wage has just been doubled.
Yep.
it's an absolute top
When
quality
you
pay
step
rise.
back and look at it, it's like, it's actually crazy.
Yeah, you could go on about it all day.
So
really.
why isn't everybody taking advantage of it? It's like, why is everyone not doing? I suppose it's people
People
out there.
are scared of doing the work a lot of the time.
Yeah.
People are just sit there and they can't be bothered.
And I
It's
think
easier to watch TikTok than...
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
100%. And I also think there are people out there who, you know, who think, or probably thinking, should I not? And my advice to them people is, you know, just do it. You know, all this information's out here now. You know, you can start reselling, you can start FBA, you can start all these
So
other side
easily now
hustles.
as well.
Just do it. There's all those like people like us teaching people how to do it. You know, there's so many people now who are just like, their business is now to just teach people how to do these side hustles. Like, we've already learned them. So it's like, why would we not teach people? It's like going like learning how to code, you know, like there's so many people out there just teaching people how to code. And that's just a natural part of life now. It's like, I'm going to teach you how to do this skill so you can make money. That's exactly what FBA is. I'm going to teach you how to do this skill so you can make money. It's just the exact same thing. It really is insane.
Like we were saying the other day, think how many people pay that much to go to uni, and how many, what was the percentage? Was it with you boys I was asking that? I think
I don't know, but that's an insane point.
Yeah, like so many people don't even get into that final job that they actually went to uni for and have spent, you know,
30 grand.
tens of thousands of
Yeah,
pounds. Plus your maintenance loan as well, like crazy. But then people won't jump on something like this for like, you know, way less.
That is actually insane. Like, why would you pay £9,000 a year to learn something that you might not even potentially get a job at the end? Or why would you not pay like £1,000 or like £100 a month to learn something that, you know, at the end of the time, you know, you're gonna get it, even if it takes 9 different side hustles to get to the point where you're actually making like 15-20 grand a year, it's still way cheaper, way more time efficient than going to uni. Why are you going to uni? Obviously it's good for like learning high level skills like accounting or
And if
like
you are
lawyering
at
or
uni,
whatever.
get a side hustle while you're there to offset
even
the
more
debt.
perfect. Like, even more perfect. You just need to find that side hustle that suits you.
Yeah.
There's so many different side hustles. Just find the one that suits you. You might not click with the first one.
Yeah,
You might not click with the second one. But then the third one
Find the
comes
one
along
you
and you'll go with it. Like, it's insane.
And they're enjoyable as well. Like I enjoy doing Amazon.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy it. Like there's nothing better than making money and then making it, you know, enjoying what you do as well.
Off your own back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing as well. Yeah.
I remember when I was reselling Yeezys, and I think they would always release Saturday at like 8
Yeah.
whatever on the splash page on Adidas. I've never enjoyed a web page so much.
I
Like,
loved
would
it.
wake up. Even I used to do.
Yeah.
You used to love
I would look
it.
forward to it the whole week, and I've you know, if I was waking up for college or whatever, I'd always sleep through my alarms, always be late for college, but The Yeezy splash page.
You'd be up 2 hours before.
Yeah, I'd always be up before, and that would be like the best morning of my week.
Yeah, it was amazing. I remember we all used to go around to Will's, Will's office. We'd all be sat there in the office on our laptops, just like honestly having the time of our lives back then. Like, especially because we had like this thing where we could bypass the splash page. So we was just honestly, mate, we was literally having the time of our life. We was just like, I was like 16 years old, just going money. It was honestly, mate. Now that you actually say that, mate, like it was honestly, I was having the time of my life.
I was speaking to Josh before. I used to use Splash Force.
Yeah. I used Splash Force, and then I remember it was the yellow zebras, like the bright yellow ones. Then they came out, and I realized I was using Splash Force wrong. And then I thought the bot was running, and I was looking at it, and then after the drop was over, I was like, forgot to do that, and I was just sat thinking the bot was working. It was just returning error after error. Yeah. But once I started botting as well, I think I got a Supreme bot. So I was doing Supreme and Yeezys, and then this was still when I was in school actually. So would have been in like, what was the equivalent here, like 4th year of high school, so like A-level year. Yeah. So I'd have computing IT every Thursday at 11 a.m. During the time when Supreme would come out. And then I used to sit on the page all the time trying to get whatever it was that week. And then I got to the point that my computing teacher just allowed me to do it and would actually come over and watch to see if I got anything.
Because you'd find out, the Supreme one you'd find out in a minute. Yeah. So that one was a fine.
Exactly. Literally less than that. And I remember I got, it was a Supreme North Face, like red Parker that I got. I think I paid like £350. I would have been 16 at the time. The biggest sort of resale single purchase I bought. And I think I posted it on Twitter literally during the class and sold it for like £550.
Insane. During your computing class.
That's funny.
That's what's just so great about all these side hustles, reselling, FBA. It's just such an amazing way to just start it. And like for people who want to make money, it's like if you're not doing it, what you're doing, this side hustle culture has just got so big at this point. There's so many people doing it. There's so many people preaching about it. It's just like, just pick up your phone, pick up your computer and just do it. Just literally crack on. And
just get involved. Yeah. That's the only thing I would say to anyone who hasn't done Amazon, hasn't done research. Just give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't like it. What have you lost?
I'd say the same. Like as we were talking about, I've tried multiple different ones, Forex, all these things. I lost a lot more than £30. So if I could have lost just £30, I would have loved it. So to get in, try it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Worst comes to worst, you've potentially lost £30.
At the end of the day,
take away or something.
It gives you the opportunity to make way more than you would do from a uni degree. Yeah. And you have to complete the whole thing, pay 30k, but this is literally 30 quid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And like one thing is, especially when you get into uni degree as well, you're locked in. Like you're so locked in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you're on this course, you're on this path. You've paid your £9,000. You've got the debt on your head. You're on the path, and it's like.
You're in a yearly contract.
And I was gonna say this before about when you're saying about your side hustle, like you love doing it. Even if you pick one side hustle and you don't like doing it, just cancel that membership or do whatever and just start the new side hustle.
You can do multiple at once.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane. It's like we should just start. We should start a new uni, like side hustle uni, where you just learn about side hustles. Literally insane, absolutely insane. But do you think that's the end of the podcast?
I think that's a great way to end it. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Appreciate you coming down.
Yeah, cheers for having me on. It's been
Had
great.
the longest train. What was it, like 4 hours to come down to get on?
Yeah, I got to the train station, cancelled. Train cancelled. Next one delayed. So probably like over 4 hours. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's worth it though.
Man.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
You.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's an inspiring story, and for people who are thinking about starting FBA, starting Amazon, starting reselling, doing whatever, all the links are in the description, and we can help you all, get involved and help you start it. We can teach you how to do it. Like all of us, Jake and Josh over here, both very experienced with Amazon. Me and Tom both very experienced resellers, and we're here to teach everybody what to do and how to get involved. So thank you for coming on, mate, and until next time, people, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.